Alrighty, 3:30 Eastern, closing with Chris, Trade Ideas, live Q&A. Welcome to all. Just checking the sound here. We're looking good. We're sounding good. Perfect. So, free for all forum here. Please, 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 if you guys got questions right away, start firing them. Give everybody a moment to start coming in, see what kind of crowd we get today. And we'll take it from there. Of course, do a little rundown of Holly, rundown of the markets. We'll build a scan if we need to build a scan, anything like that. Aj, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for popping in, my friend. A few things troubleshooting going on over here. So again, guys, start firing away some questions. I'll catch back up in 1 second if anybody's got anything we want to look at, we want to discuss, we want to talk, we want to build. Want to bring in a few people trying to get in here, so trying to get them the link for that. Get myself all caught up. We'll start firing away here. Alrighty, there we go. So let's take a dive around things here today. We're right back smacking up against all-time highs in the market. Blue, you break my heart. I sold out the other day. Had this. Got it from the TI strength alerts. It did decent in it. Sold out on this day here. Looked like it was a great call, as it did that yesterday. As it did that, I'm sorry, afterwards. And it's done this last couple days again. So anyways, hindsight trading, always my favorite to look at. Tough, tough, tough. Let's see. Let's take a look at that's just snapshot some of the markets here. The indexes, the SPY, boom, smacking right up against all-time highs. On a 15-minute chart, you can see it there, just below it there. We'll set the poised to take it out tomorrow, barring something happening. You never know. Markets are not predictable, but all the same, looks kind of good to go. Qs have to be enjoying a bounce, I'd imagine, today. Yep, Qs looks like all-time highs for the Qs. Is that, am I right? 383.15. Yep, we're at all-time highs on the Qs. 384 right there. We cracked that. And let's take a look at the diamonds. Diamonds, not so much today. Diamonds had been leading the way. Taking a bit of a couple day pullback here up on the day. Kind of just floundering around, but sitting right there at all-time highs, essentially the same. And let's not forget our IWMs, our small cap darlings. And the IWM just cannot seem to get out of its way. Looked like it might be kind of set to go through here, I thought. Smacked right into this resistance there. We'll see what happens. Smack down, pulling back up again. Maybe it just wasn't ready. It was afraid. Who knows? Needs to catch a little more steam to get up. If it does get going, though, I mean, that's a heck of a base to be coming out of here. I mean, look at that range for so long. All right. That's a heck of a range to come out of if you can get it going. It couldn't bust the support here. Couldn't bust it. 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 And now it's making higher lows all the way through here. 1, 2, 3, 4 higher lows. So we'll see what that means moving forward here for the IWM. So let's see, Mike, for sure. Like Chris was trying to get support chat, but they suggest I come. Yeah, that was me, Mike. Sorry, I was juggling a few support chats, and I saw you came in. And I couldn't get to you fast enough. And I figured it was easier to send you here. I believe you're the one you said something about alerts not coming in right. Um, yeah, that looks like it was you that was in there. So if you can kind of elaborate on what's going on, and we'll troubleshoot you. Generally, when that happens, there's a filter that's probably blocking a stock, is what I'm guessing. A stock didn't show up on an alert that you thought might have, and probably a filter maybe wasn't met, or a filter blocked it. So if you can do me a favor, Mike, yeah, you can't share links here. If you can email me back to the email that I emailed you with a cloud link to that scan that you were looking to, that you're having the issue with, and let me know what ticker it was, and I will reverse troubleshoot you here and show you how I do that. And a few other people get to see how we do this kind of thing. 2 minute wide range bar alert. Okay. Let's see here. 2 minute. Just want to bring up the configure here and take a look. 2 minute. Oh, thank you, Andy. So yeah, Mike, if you respond back to the email that I had sent to you, me and Andy take a look and reverse troubleshoot you. Let us know what ticker wasn't coming in, and we'll get you sorted out there. So moving along while we wait for Mike to send that in. So as I was mentioning with the IWMs, we'll see what they can do. Um, you know, it's a heck of a support range right there. Uh, you know, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Is this going to be a higher low? I think so. I think it will be. I don't get paid to think though. Basically, a day would go without getting the alert, and say history on alerts would pop up from previous day that did not come in real time. All right, yeah. So send us that scan. We're gonna troubleshoot that out for you there, Mike. Send it through that email there that I sent you, and we'll work on a back channel like that there. So that's just a quick snapshot of the overall markets, and then one real quick one, and then I'm going to dive into Holly. Of course, it's an open forum here, open Q&A. So if anybody interrupt me at any time, all right, that's what I'm here for. We go over anything that you like, but while people pile in and we get things going, see the questions coming in, I just want to bring up my ETF tracker here, or my sectors list, and just take a look at position and range on the year for things. And as we start to really move into the fourth quarter here, what the market looks like overall. And as you can see here, as I stretch that way out, has that got everything? Yeah, everything except I think MJ is what we're missing. No, it's got everything. Yep. All right. So we look at this position and range for things. The only thing position and range I don't really pay attention to would be the VXX. That's just uh, isn't the same as looking at the rest of these. But your K-Web, that's your loser on the year right now. Not far behind it, FXI, that's your large cap China stocks. All right. And your big winners of position range of the year is the Qs. The Qs went negative on the year for a little bit here, and all the way back up. And you can see that not one of these other ETFs here that represent your big sectors, not one of them have gone negative for the year. Not one. Not the SPY, not the diamonds, not even the IWM. Stuck in that range all year long. Somewhere in here is my IWM. There we go, IWM. Not one of those things have gone negative for the year. All right. So, what does that mean? To me, it means we got a strong market, a healthy 5% full pullback, give or take. And, that's what I'm seeing here. It doesn't mean you just buy things and hold it blindly. Have a plan, know what you're trading, why you're trading it, whether it's charts, fundamentals, combination thereof. But it's a damn strong market, and there's plenty to be had in this, I'd say. Cody Hill, can this be used to swing trade? What I always tell people when they ask about swing trading is it becomes to data analysis. What are you looking for in a swing trade? I'm more of a swing trader, more of a position swing trader, swing scalper, however you want to call it. So are several of the other fellows that I work with here. Some of the other guys that I work with here are straight day traders. We all have some pretty decent successes, but it's what are you looking for in a swing trade? What are you looking for in a setup? Um, hmm. You can just reply to that though, or you can even send it in here, Mike, on info at trade ideas eas.com. You can email us right there and email that scan. Give us as much detail as you can with what you're looking at there. I know you said the 2 minute range bar range, but just give, because it'll probably be me, maybe one or two other people that take a look at this. So just so they can have as much detail when they're looking at it blindly without knowing what I know already from this chat. So yes, Cody definitely can be used for swing trading. I'll show you a scan that I use. It's a very simple scan that I use to find most of my ideas for swing trading in here. Load from cloud. All right, so you can save things to the cloud here. You can save them locally, save them to the cloud, and we can share things. So if you were a subscriber, I would be able to share this with you, and I always happy to share this scan. There's nothing. There's no magic to it. It's just something that works for me and kind of the things that I'm looking at. So that loaded onto the screen. Let me pull that over, and pretty full today. Not bad. I'm gonna have a nice list to go through at the end of the day. And I go through these stocks one by one, and some of them are gonna be really extended. I'm not gonna be interested in them. And some of them are gonna look good, and like they might have some meat on them the next day. This QUBT, as a matter of fact, looks like it might have some meat on it. I've been getting kind of into this pattern a little bit more recently. Usually I'm a cup and handle person, but I'm getting this kind of wedge here. I like the way it's doing. It got the 50 moving average today. It's closing strong on the day in a strong market. Computer programming services can definitely be a runner. There's a lot of data and information that we can display and sort by and all kinds of things like that. So got we call our single stock window here. And so I can see all kinds of metrics on the stock here there, Cody. We can see that it's traded just under 2 mil shares traded today. Or sorry, just under 1.1 mil shares traded today. Relative volume of 5.79, meaning it's doing almost 6 times its normal volume over the last 10 days as an average. We've got a float here. We got our short float, our short growth. And you're not limited to just these data points. Anything that we have for data points you can put in here. These are the ones that I happen to like. A daily RSI of 40. So we're starting to tick up. We can see that move right here. All right, so these are all the metrics that we can look at here. And to show you what I'm doing with this scan, so essentially this scan here, I call it my evening scan. If I right click and I come to the configure of the scan, we can take a look in my window specific filters. Now this is where I've given it the metrics is going to look for stocks. So in this here, I can see that I am looking for stocks that have a minimum price of $4, a maximum of $30. I want to see that it traded at least 750,000 shares today. Its relative volume is 1, meaning it's doing its average over a 10-day period. I want to see that 75% above the low of today's range. So I want to see it closing strong. I want to see momentum going into the next day because I use this scan after the market closes. All right. And I want to see on its 20-day range, I want to see it's 75% above the low of its 20-day range. So I want to see this thing isn't stuck in no man's land. I want to see it's been moving up over the last 20 days or so. I want to see that it's, making higher lows, things like that. All right. And, nothing too special about this scan, but it returns to me some really great ideas that I found over the last couple of years now. I go through these each, and we have a function on our charting system and what we call symbols list where I can like the stock. So you see this heart that's up here in the corner. I can click that. It'll go red, and it tells me that I liked it at a certain time. So I can archive that. I can go back and look at the archive of when I've done that. Really flexible stuff. And just to really give you an idea to dive down the rabbit hole here, this is what we call a top list, Cody. This returns me every stock that will meet the criteria of the scan every 30 seconds, cycling back and forth from the server. Just has to meet what we call our filters. So you can indicate this by a T in the top corner for top list. This has an A for alert window. So this works the same way with all the filters have to be met. And at the same time, it needs an alert or an event. So if we come into the configure, we're going to see the selected alert here is a new high. So for me, the catalyst is a new high has to be happening on the day with all the filters being met at the same time. And if we come to our search, you're going to see we have so many data points to work with and go with here, right? So when you see icons like this, these are all of our alerts. And as I scroll down, I mean, you're going to just see an incredible amount of different alerts that we have, different crosses and consolidations and running up, running down, uh, channel breakouts and downs, different consolidations here and breakdowns, some different pattern recognitions. I'll be honest, some of the pattern recognition is good, some of it's bad, just kind of depends. It's not an easy one, but we have 5 minute highs, 10 minute highs, 5 minute lows, 10 minute lows. Right down through a few different times here. Some different range break. You got Fibonacci's, you got MACD regression, linear regressions. It just list goes on and on and on and on for these alert catalysts here. Different piercing patterns and stuff. And then as we come down, now these here are our filters. All right. And we have all these different filter metrics that you can go on, different volumes and RSIs and ranges and position and ranges and consolidations, consecutive candles, your change over different periods of time. We can look at the NASDAQ, the SPY, or the Dow. Um, some different VWAPs, are some anchored VWAPs here, changes from close, changes from previous days. The list goes on and on and on, Cody. So, if you're interested, please, I do this every day, 3:30. You want to take a few days, come join these. The stream actually opens at 9 o'clock every single day in the morning Eastern. A gentleman named Barry runs it as a trading room most of the day. Breaks out to Q&A at 12 noon Eastern every day. We close this at 3 o'clock every day, and then I open back up at 3:30 for an hour. So, come check us out. We'd love to welcome you to the community. Can you comment on OSTK? I see these questions coming in, so I'm going to hit everything. Mike, also, let me make sure. Let me see, Mike. I don't see anything come back in from you here, Mike. Hmm. Strange, Mike. Can you? I'm going to generate an email and send this over to you here. And if you can see if it comes in and if you can respond to it. All right, Mike, you should see an email coming in from me any second from Trade Dash. And check your spam folder. Sometimes our stuff ends up in a spam folder. So, all right, we got you there. What are we taking a look? OSTK. OSTK. Interesting stuff. I'm guessing earnings. Yep, earnings before the market today. Let's scroll out a little bit. So, all right, so some interesting stuff here with this. Very interesting stuff. The more I scroll back, bigger the base, the bigger the boom. This is what I see. These horseshoe patterns. They make higher lows all through here. All right. You also have lower highs. And so now the rubber meets the road right here. You're wedging, we're wedging right through here. All right. And this has got to resolve itself now. All right. At what point do we kind of make this sideways move still? Mail order house is interesting. That's what I see from Overstock, though. It's a 20% move today. I'm not going and chasing that. I'll tell you that right now. But so some super, super interesting stuff here. Also, I just always like to point this out. If Cody, you're still here, our AI Holly called this as a buy here and a buy here. Not too bad of a run, depending on what you're looking for in a swing trade. All right. This, would have been a swing trade that put you in a slight bit of pain for a while. But pain is relative to what your stop is, your share sizing, your time frame, all those things like that. And I would note that off that all, this was a nice, probably flagging pattern that was going on back there before you really got to jump up on that. Now, I mean, does she make calls like that every single day? No. But does she make calls like that once a month? Probably. And I could show you some other examples of that too. So that's why I see an OSTK though. Massive move on whatever earnings thing it was today. It was fading going into earnings. All right, and we get this pop, gap, and go. Um, Not great that it's closing weak while the market's closing strong, actually. But closing weak on a 20% move up. Not really something you can knock, to say the least. Um, Interesting. A lot of buy signals all through here. That Holly. So that's what I see there. And again, in a more short-term basis here, zooming in a little bit, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. All right, exploding out of that pattern right there. Cup handle also. All right. This was some sort of, whoops, that's a terrible line. Now pivot lines are never exact, but that looks like it was, everybody's looking at that as a resistance line, couldn't get through it. Now it's blasted through it today. Does this become support tomorrow, or is this a whoopsie and it becomes resistance again tomorrow? That's the next step. That's the next question. That's what I see there. And then obviously you're going to have that level, but we're well off that level. Definitely a lot of meat to be had on the upside before we get there. That's my short and skinny there on OSTK. And like I said, I'm holding up, but lean towards selling after today. Well, I would tell you this, something that I do personally. It's not a recommendation, but let's say if I had 200 shares of this right now and I had a 20% move on that like that, I might sell 75 of those shares. Um, you know, that might be something I do, or 100 of those shares. Something. Now you're satisfying the greed devil says hold some, so now you're holding some, and the fear devil says lock in some profit, so now you've locked in some profit. Um, that would be my other 2 cents that are there. Cody sold. That's what we want to hear. And Cody, we got a lot of education here. It's all free. Like I said, this stream has different themes throughout the day, but it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. We got a full user's guide, all kinds of stuff, Cody. So, we'd love to welcome you aboard. Also here, Cody. Anybody else that might be checking it out, we've got actually a sale that's going on, so don't hold off on signing up for 1 second here. I'm going to drop you a link and a code. Give me 1 second. This is going on till the end of the month, but if you were to follow you're to follow that link and use this in all capital letters. That'll get you 25% off your first month of a monthly subscription or a year of an annual subscription. So use that link in that there. Okay, Mike, let me see. Did that come in yet? Yeah, I get people, both sides of the coin. Oh, the AI didn't do this, or the AI, why didn't trade that? And look at the AI today. All right. Now a lot of people just want to automate the AI. Today, automating the AI would have been a pretty good day in a moderate mode, to say the least. Pretty damn good day. But trading it on your own, or maybe letting her make the entries and you managing the exits, could have been 10 times better than what you're seeing. Not 10 times, but could have been much better. Look at this. Moderate profit is way down here. Now, would you have let that happen and its max profit was 238? Think about that. In all honesty, if you were to make an entrance anywhere in this range here, and you were sitting here and you're in profit from there, and then all of a sudden you come down and touch this and you get back up, would you have let this get all the way back down here? Realistically, as a trader, I wouldn't have. All right. So, in the conservative mode, she took the profit on a profit save, but she took it way down here. All right. Realistically, if I had made a move, if I had gotten a piece of a move like that, you better believe I'd have sold something in here at least part of it. And then as it started to wobble like this, I'd have sold some more for sure. Trade management and all those things like that. I can see the cloud we get. No, you're not saving it to the cloud. No, you saving it to your cloud only saves it to your cloud. We can't see it there, Mike. You have to, like this. You would go right click, save or share to cloud, and then you'd click save and share, and you're going to copy this URL and paste it and reply in the email that I sent you. In that email that I sent you, you're going to paste that here and say, hey, this scan and these are the things that I'm seeing or not seeing, and so on and so forth. And that's how we're gonna fix you up. Did I miss anything here? I covered OSTK. Thanks, Perfect Circle. Appreciate that. It's I've had periods of time where it wasn't giving me very many good ideas or any at all, and I've had periods of time where it's overwhelming me with ideas too. So, would you pick up block? How would you pick up block crosses? How would one pick up block cross? I'm not sure what you mean by block cross. I mean, there's block trades and crosses. You could use the block trade alert and then maybe use a couple of SMA filters and put the values so that on whatever time frame you're looking for that they're close together. That's what my suggestion would be there. Okay. Sent it a few minutes ago. This is odd because I don't see your email coming in here. I wonder why your emails are not coming in. And Mike, you're saying you emailed back to info@trade-ideas.com? Oh yeah, Perfect Circle. I wouldn't know how to do something like that. I've never even heard of that. Not something we have data point wise, unfortunately. Um, I'm trying to rack my brain. I mean, there might be some way to do that with Hmm. This is weird. Why is that not coming in? It shows me that you read that email 10 minutes ago too, but I don't see any reply on it. All right, might have to work on that outside this here in a second. All right, give me a second here, Mike, and we're going to keep circling back with you to get that scan into us. I'll real quick dive down the Holly rabbit hole today. I generally like to look at her in moderate profit, to be honest. And there's two things I look at. I look at what the moderate profit is, okay? And I look at what the max profit is. And the max profit was what its max profit was in conservative mode, actually. All right. And we can see some really good spread here. All right. Now this maintains right where it is. There's a few more bucks that way. There's a few more bucks this way. All right. Holding on to this trade worked out a little better here. This is about in line here. This was better on the conservative exit, it looks like, or not necessarily conservative exit, but it was better not holding on to that trade and exiting it early. Same here, same here, same here, same here, and same here. All right. So while today looked really good in moderate, let's take a look in conservative now. All right. And we can see here, some of these ones didn't have quite the same spread that we were seeing in the moderate. All right. So all this through here that was showing some moderate profit, not showing it here on the conservative. All right. And for those that don't know the difference between moderate and conservative profits, moderate means entering the trade and holding it to the end of the day. The only thing that will get you out besides the end of the day is hitting a stop. That's it. All right. Conservative means there's a whole series of exits that can get you out. If it has a profit target, you could have hit the profit target. A stop loss obviously will still get you out in conservative. Some strategies will have a timed exit, and then some strategies have what we call a reduced risk or a profit save. The profit save you could think of as like a trailing stop, meaning I'm in a winner, I'm not letting it turn to a loser. GM is an example of it. So where you see this dark shaded area here, that was where it was actively in the conservative mode. All right. And she exited here on this candle on a profit save. This line was the entry line. Here's where she got out, somewhere on that candle. All right. So she didn't let it come back and touch that. That's what we call it, a profit save. Now, my issue always with this is whatever her algorithm, her metrics were to exit there, to me, that's late. As a trader, that was late. To see this big run up like that and to see it fall and up and fall, now I'm looking at it as it's, chopping sideways and down. All right. After all that. So that's my 2 cents there. I had definitely been taking some out somewhere in these ranges here and not way down here and just closing the whole position. So again, man and machine. So that's the short and skinny there of how Holly works in those metrics there. I am a preferer. I do prefer moderate profit overall, but that doesn't mean that moderate profit wins or loses more. It's just, my eye, my metrics, my risk parameters, things like that. Some of you may be saying, oh, well, I see that aggressive there. Forget the aggressive. Aggressive doesn't exist as far as you're concerned, as far as anybody's concerned. Uh, I wish we didn't display it, but we do. And aggressive means trading without a stop. It means getting into the stock and holding it for the rest of the day. And I just, it's a terrible idea to trade without a stop. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say about that. So the data's there. It is what it is. It's a free country. It's a free market. Whatever, all those things like that. But I don't think anybody should be doing that. All right, I got it. It came in here. I don't know why. It just took its time to work its way through, Mike. Um, so if you can, even send a second email attached to where you sent the scan, Mike, just tell us exactly what's missing from it. Because just having the scan, I might not be the only one that works on this, and not everybody's going to know what we discussed in here. So someone later tonight might look at this. So I'm just going to email you back if you can include some details. All right. So you're going to see an email come back. You can get me some details, maybe a screenshot or something like that of whatever's going on. And we're going to get that sorted out for you there, one way or the other. All right. Let's see. Anything else coming in? I think we're all caught up through here with questions. So, all right. So, like I said, I like to look at moderate profit quite personally. Now, the way I have the AI simulated here, and don't think of it as like a real simulator. We could set the AI up in a real simulator, but this is just the alert window for it. And the way I like to display all this and do things is I do it hypothetically like I'm risking $100 based on her stop losses. All right. That's just how I'm set it up. All right. And so to tell me what my hypothetical amount of shares would have been here. All right. And it tells me what my hypothetical profits would have been by doing it like that, essentially. So I like to sort it neat like that. All right. And so we can see some really good spread on some of these trades here. All right. And how we could have done as well, if not better than Holly by manually trading alongside of her. We looked at GM. Let's take a look at some of these other winners here, and then we'll pop into our losers, of course, because you can't show the good without the bad. We've got to be unbiased. Beautiful call here on Hasbro. All right. People are playing games apparently. And we're looking at breakout here. So, we're looking at a breakout strategy. It looks like we had a breakout here yesterday, and that breakout continues here today. That's what Holly is looking for in that strategy. We got a continuation of that breakout on a 15-minute chart. Looks really nice. We get this opening range here. All right. And we break out on this opening range. All right. So just kind of textbook alert on that. She gets it right here towards the top of that candle. And it's not but about 15 minutes before we start to release up. That might have been an area to be looking at taking profit earlier, especially things start to get a little sideways. Sideways we're in the market too. All right. So again, going back to, I discussed earlier about selling partial lots. You got, 200, 400, 500 shares, whatever you're taking, whatever you're risking, you sell a portion of it when you start to see a move like that. All right. Now you've locked in some move. Now you've locked in some stuff. Maybe you want to move your stop up a little bit. All right. And give yourself some more downside protection. All right. You start to move sideways. You say, you know what? I had 500 shares. I sold 150. Maybe I'm going to sell another 100 in this wobbliness here. And then you get another little pop and maybe you want to sell a little more there. It's not a suggestion to do that. All I'm pointing out is how are you going to manage your risk? You've gotten a quality alert from the AI here, but how are you going to manage that alert from the AI? How are you going to personally trade it? And these are the questions. When you start answering those questions with a sound action of plan or plan of action, that's when you're going to start to see the big difference in your trading. All right. Let's take a look at DT here. Another pretty solid alert from her. You had to hang on to this one a little bit here. You get the entry here, up here on the top of that wick. All right. And again, we were looking at sunrise mover. So she got in that pretty early here on the day, 9:52 Eastern time. And Amazon misses. I'm shocked. Amazon's always doing funny things like that. I'm sure they'll be right back up tomorrow. I'm sure it looks like a terrible chart. We'll look at Amazon right after this. But so you get that alert here. All right. Your stops here. You came down a little bit and now you start to chop that line for a little bit and you get into the money. Not bad. You're in some money here. All right. And you start to fade here a little bit, but you really just kind of range bound for the day all through here. You're never coming back to that entrance after that initial wobble that's here. And the end of the day, you close the market strong and you close this position strong. So going back to, is Holly good for swing trading? Well, I'll tell you what. If I had been in something like this, whether it was through Holly or my own alert, and if I was in a few hundred shares of it and it was closing the day like this, you better believe I'd have sold some and I'd definitely ride some into tomorrow. The other thing we look at is look at the chart. What are we looking at here? All right, well, let's look at this daily chart. All right. We had earnings a couple of days ago. All right. So that's this big move in this gap down here. All right. But what did this big gap down find? Support going right back to here, and support actually going right back to here. And it was resistance back here. So we know we've got a pretty significant pivot line. And although this didn't get there, all right, we always talk about pivot lines aren't always exact. So this pivot line still matters as far as I'm concerned to that little space right there. All right. So now we see that this was resistance. This was resistance. Now it's become support and support and support and support, and it's become support one more time. So now we start to move back into this gap with this also. Now, I'm not saying it gets to this level, but there's certainly a chance that it could. And we could position ourselves and our risk. We always got to remember also whole numbers are significant. All right. So that 75 whole number could, be a resistance point tomorrow for all we know. Could gap right up to that 75 and give it up, so we prepared for those if we kept a little bit of those shares. Perfect, Mike. Appreciate you doing that. We're gonna dive in. We're gonna figure it out here for you. I just want to make sure that came in on the email side. All right, and I'm going to merge these things here. So I'm just merging some emails. Perfect. All right. All right, we're all set to go. So, when I wrap this up here during the evening, I'm going to take a look at all that for you there, Mike, and we're going to get you going there. So, those are the winners from Holly. I just going to jump and look at Amazon really fast. AMZN, right? Is that Amazon? I can never remember some of these bigger ticker numbers. I never look at them. Yeah, there we go. We're going to look at Amazon for a second, and then we're going to jump back and we're going to look at the Holly losers too, because we got to show the winners and the losers. There is no perfect system. You're very welcome, Mike. And one way or the other, we never have a ton of bugs that come through the system, but we do get bugs once in a while. So if we got one, we want to know it. We're going to get right on it, and we're going to find out what's going on. So let's look at properties. Let's get a post market here going on for our 15-minute chart, and that's fun. So big miss from Amazon. Prices down here, and the price is almost in line with this here. Not shot through it. It's coming right back up to it. So we'll see. That actually came down. I wonder if this is going to tell the tale right here. Mark up. Now, by putting this line here, it's going to appear on my other time frames too. So I bet we're going to see it come right there. Oh, that is no happy accident. And it's never exact. It's, pivot lines, always an approximation. But I put this pivot line appeared here from what I saw in this daily chart here, and what I saw there, and what I see here, and what I see here, and what I see here. All right. So This range in here is a really significant range for Amazon and support and resistance in battles. All right. We can zoom back out and we're going to see that line. Look at that. I mean, just, you know, big deal. All those lines are big deals on this chart here. I mean, look at that. So, boom, 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 boom. Gets through, whoopsie, right back down. All right. So, and what you have to understand with a stock like Amazon is all your big funds, the big ETFs, all those things like that, they're all really heavy into this. All the big money managers, your 401ks, all that stuff. They're all really big. They're all weighted into this. God knows how much, that they're weighted into this. And they're all looking at the same levels and playing chicken with each other and who's going to run who stops and who's going to make it look like we're really buyers when we're sellers and make it look like we're sellers when we're buyers. And it's all head games and mentality and things like that. The thing that I will note looking at this, while you're stuck in a massive range for so long with Amazon, I mean, look at this range from here to here, essentially, going all the way back to last year. I mean, I would say this: you got a slow kind of trend up here overall. All right, slow and trickling trend up. That's what I would say, and I wouldn't be surprised actually to see quite a bounce and return in that to this level, and we'll see what happens if we can get back to that level. It wouldn't shock me to see any of that. So there's my Amazon 2 cents, anyways. It's not a stock I trade. I don't like expensive stocks, but a chart's a chart. You just have to know that stocks have personalities when they get to certain price ranges. Stocks under $1 trade a certain way. Stocks, $1 to $2 trade a certain way. Stocks $2 to $5 trade a certain way. Stocks $5 to $8 trade a certain way. And these are kind of approximations on prices. But if you go back and you look at things and you pay attention, you get enough chart time and seat time, those are things you'll see. Getting through $10 and staying above $10 is one of the biggest hurdles for a stock, as you will find in a price range. $100 becomes a big significant level like that. Whole dollar numbers are very significant when you get $10 to $20, kind of so on and so forth, all those things like that. So, Starbucks misses too. Good. I don't like Starbucks. No, I'm just teasing. I don't really care. I'm a tea drinker. I know they have tea, but whatever. Um, what's the overall impact on the market? Where are they going to open tomorrow? That's the overall impact on the market. We're sitting at all-time highs. Does anybody really want to be short this market? I mean, how many people? I cannot tell you on part of what you call FinTwit on Twitter, financial Twitter community. I cannot tell you how many doomsayers through here. We're coming back down. We're going to have 400 on the SPY. And I said, we might. I'm not saying we're not. I'm not seeing it the way you guys are. Is it possible? Sure, why not? I said, are we going to hit all-time highs again? I don't know. We might be range bound just below all-time highs and kind of in this range till the end of the year. It's kind of what I really felt like. And then we took out all-time highs with countless people that I know that were like, nope, we're all going down. We're going down. The ship's going down. It's 5% pullback. Textbook. Beyond text. You don't get more textbook than that. And that's all there is to it. So, do you really want to be short this market? I can't understand why someone would want to be short this market. Would I play both sides of it? Absolutely. Would I hedge with something like an SDS or an XPX or something like that? Absolutely. Those are all good things that I would do without any question whatsoever. So sorry, just getting some data coming into me about this automated list that I run here. And no, when you see automated lists, it's automated, but it's not automated. It's not like some big fund or anything like that. We're testing some stuff. And also, anybody that's been around, I've been working on this, what we call 520 cross on the fives, and in live action hasn't been great until the last few days, and today eked out one whole point. So just getting that data in, going over that real fast. But back to what I was saying with the overall market, these companies are going to miss, but what are their guidance? And anybody can say anything in the cookbooks. And are they lowering expectations for moving forward because of inflation's coming and all these narratives and blah blah blah? So I won't get caught in it. What I'll get caught in is the charts. Where are they going to open? What are they going to do the next few days? It is worth noting that wick right there on the spire. So probably running some stops. This probably has something to do with Amazon. Probably has something to do with Starbucks, Apple, anything like that coming on. People are going to test the fear. They're going to run things like that. And do we roll over tomorrow and do we crash and everybody loses all their money? That's possible. I mean, anything's possible. Is it likely? No, not likely at all. Same thing here. The Qs are going to be more affected. The SPY's tech heavy. The Qs are, even more tech heavy. So, we take a look here on the Qs. They're not doing anything after hours. I mean, literally nothing after hours. I mean, I don't really consider that anything right there whatsoever. So the Qs obviously are shaking off anything that we're seeing. I do like to look at the RSP. If you do not know what the RSP is, that is your equal weighted 500 SPY or equal weighted S&P 500. So all the stocks that would be in here, and we're sitting just off all-time highs again on that, and just a slow grind up for the day, going positive. Yeah, that's some strong looking stuff right there. So I wouldn't be short this market. That's all. I wouldn't be short it with your money. And let's see, what are we doing after hours here? Not a, it's not exactly anything crazy for Apple as far as I know right there. We'll see when they report. I'm sure you'll see a lot more action. There's no real volume in it. We can see here comes some volume. No. So that's that. There's a short and skinny on all that. So, all right, we'll dive back into Holly here. I showed winners. Let's show some losers from the moderate side. So breakout long here. And what do we got going on? I'm going to get rid of this post-market data. I don't really need to look at pre and post-market data. I don't care. It doesn't affect what I'm doing. There we go. So let's zoom back in a little bit here to our relative data from today for right now. So we get a massive gap up here, and we look like we're ready to break out long. Looks like it's going to do it. We get this big wick, and unfortunately, it's just not the way it goes. And she decides to close the trade right away in here because we start to get all wicky. So her algorithm saw something in the conservative mode. She bought it at that level. She sold it right at that level on this candle, and that was it in conservative. Moderate just means we're holding to the end of the day unless a stop happens. A stop did happen even in moderate. We came down and got stopped out here. That's why you see a max loss there of that for me in the moderate. And so the stop loss protected it. Sure, it came back up, but it never came back up to this level. And it's just what happened. She got a head fake. Let's look at a chart and what a trader's eye would have saw that a computer cannot see. All right, because it only knows to see what it was programmed to see and what it back tested and optimized the night before for its strategy. And what did we see here? All right, we talk about pivot lines are an approximation. They're not an exact. All right, so realistically, as a trader, this doesn't look bad. We gap up, they run it down, it looks good. They run it down, sellers just couldn't get it. They couldn't get it. And maybe the buyers had control, and then the buyers just completely lost control there. And while I'm seeing, are the buyers gaining control in here? I'm looking at this right here, this gap, all right, and this whole square that could get filled, not on one day, likely, but I'm looking, are we breaking out of this? Are we making a move up like that? Because we know it can happen. And how do we know it can happen? I'm going to show you a chart right now that we know it can happen with. Look at that. All right. So we know these things can happen. We look back, some very similar kind of things going on here. Now, unfortunately, the AI did not see this one today. We had this gap, and we moved right into this gap real nice like. And I don't think it's any accident that 40 is where we get rejected. Everybody in their trading world partners saw this, and I don't think there's anybody that was approaching 40 in this candle and said, hey, I'm going to try to hold through 40, especially if anybody gotten anywhere in here. If you got anywhere in there and you saw 40 coming up, who in their right mind would at least hold all their position and wouldn't be selling on the way up, possibly on the way back down too. So what do we know? We know gaps can get filled. This was a quality setup. It just didn't work out on this, and that's all there is to it, because not every trade works out no matter what. And that's just, that's the way the trading block goes. So that's one loser from Holly. We covered GM, but I just double harp down on this one. Again, Sunrise Mover, she gets in early. You got to look at these resistance levels. There's your resistance from the gap down yesterday. She makes a good call off this here. We're in a range now. All right. Look at that range. You got a wick that comes down and touches this. There's your low of yesterday. You test the low of yesterday. You test the high of yesterday. All right. And we got stuck in that whole range. And we even bounced off that again at the end of the day here and where that stop loss was put. Okay. So while in moderate, it was a loser. It came down and got stopped out in moderate mode. In conservative, it was a winner. All right. So we could have managed that better than Holly. All right. And that's all there is to it. Her algorithms were set for these ranges. We can see that. There was some kind of either 2 day range or average true range, some kind of range filter that was in there that was optimized for this scan. That's what it was looking at. All right. She can't adjust on the fly like that. She comes in prepared based on the night before. And that's the short and skinny with Holly there. So I think we kind of covered enough. There's money to be had in most of these trades today. Even this year, stop way down here. How are you managing your risk? Personally, if I'd been day trading this, I'd have probably used this level as my stop. That's what my eye goes to. That seems like a really far down stop. Couldn't share size reasonably for a sizable profit, quite personally. And decent alert. And you move up and you test that entry level, and then you move up again. So um, I don't know. Quality day from the AI. It's nice when it has a quality day. It makes it a little easier for me. And it has its bad days. That's all there is to it. It has its good days. Today was a really, really, really good day for the AI. So that's the short and skinny there. Again, I see a little nicer crowd than I had the last few days. Got a few minutes before we wrap things up here. If people got questions, fire them away. I'm really happy to answer them. Whatever it is, you got a chart you want to fire out there, I'll take a look at it. As I always say, I'm no CMT, but maybe one day. Uh, if you have got a question about any of the scanners that I either have up or a scanner that you have an idea for, we'll give you a yay or a nay if it can be done, or how close we can get to it, or maybe even set up a template for you. Those that know me know that I like to curate lists. I like a narrow set of stocks that I'm looking at each day, what I consider quality names for different reasons on different time frames. So I use the My Liked feature. This scan here that says My Liked is looking at just stocks that I've liked for different reasons. It'd been kind of ugly looking the last few days. Today it looks pretty stellar. Obviously, going to have some stuff down here at the bottom, but no deep red, and some really nice deep greens all through here. EVs were having quite a day today. So, this is an EV play with lithium, EV play with lithium, EV play with lithium, EV play again, AVRL, another one. So these are things I'm looking at. Most of these I either got from my evening scan that I had up before. I'll go ahead and share that out just in case anybody here doesn't have it. My evening scan. Share, copy, paste. There you go. So there's that. And the other thing that I'm using here, and I see your question, I'll look at BITO. It's funny that you mentioned that. I can't trade it with IB. You got to get permissions from it, and they got to verify things. It's really ridiculous. The other thing that I've been using really big, and I'm getting more and more into this every single day, is this scan right here, the TI strength alerts. Yes, you have the TI strength alerts. If we go to your channel bar, all right, so if we look at the channel bar, we have the strength alerts channel, but that's only going to take the 5 that had a high rating, and that caught Michael Noss's eye, who's the architect of this. And that's his quote unquote 5 picks with a write up about each of those 5 picks. Well, there's a lot more stocks in here, and they come in every single day. New setups, new alerts. He looks at these on Friday. He curates it, and he comes up with this, and it's an email product that we have for people that just want the strength alerts. But we also took it a step further and said anybody that's subscribed to the software gets the strength alerts that we're emailing out to those people in a channel. And now we have our Market Explorer window that we can push out to everybody. And so anybody that's on the latest beta can look at this Market Explorer window, and then come look at the score rating here. And you can look at the average volumes, and you can look at the price and when the alert came through, their daily alert. So you're going to see it here, at the beginning of a day. There's some quality stuff in here. I'm starting to really look at this, and I've been trading from this a lot actually recently. So again, back to if Cody, you're still in here. Um, oh wow, you signed up for the annual. Fantastic, Cody. Well, welcome to the community. Make sure you're taking full advantage of everything we got here. All right. And you can always, Cody, you got any questions or anything? Send us an email, or anybody. info@trade-ideas.com. Cody, you could even, send us an email there saying, hey, I understand you guys have a lot of education materials, full user's guide. Send an email there for us, and we'll put, whether it's me or someone else, we're gonna put something together for you, and a lot of stuff for you to go over, more than you could ever do in a day. It's a marathon though, not a sprint on this. So the software is always growing, and so are we. Um, Anyways, that's the short and skinny with all that. You asked something about BITO. Let's take a look at it for fun. BITO. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a big sell-off around 2 o'clock for Bitcoin. Ha! Look at that. Like I said, big sell-off for Bitcoin around 2 o'clock. Look at that 2:30 candle. And it bounced right back up and over again. I don't know what that was about. And I wasn't looking at Jamie Hodge that I work with. Made some mention of it. And I've been busy with stuff, so I didn't get a chance to check out. And I don't really do anything with crypto. I mean, I watch it. It entertains me. It's just not, unfortunately, it was something that I wasn't in a position to get involved with early on, and I just don't have the risk appetite for it at the moment. But if you can make money on it, listen, I don't care what it is. If you can make money on it and it's something quote unquote legit, do it. And I don't see any reason that cryptocurrency is any less legit than any other financial vehicle out there. That's interesting. I don't know what to make of that other than a big washout there coming down and almost touching, just passing the low of yesterday. That's also interesting. But I cannot trade this in IB. I'm waiting for permission or approval. So if I'm going to trade crypto, the way I've traded crypto is through stocks that are crypto related. That's how I've kind of done it. Bitcoin 100,000. It seems kind of likely at this point. I don't see why not. Just as likely as anything at this point. So good stuff. Entertaining, that's for sure. Even if I can't trade it, I love, I love charts. I love going over this stuff. So that's the short and skinny there with all that. Again, a couple minutes if someone's got a question here before we wrap up. Let me know. And trying to think of anything else noteworthy here and interesting. Give you something that's on my radar for tomorrow. I traded this a ton. It's been very good to me. I've seemed to be on the right side of this more often than not, trading at BCRX. It's a bio. So that's my first disclaimer. Holding a bio overnight can be an absolute travesty. So just know that. You could wake up tomorrow, you could hold a bio overnight, wake up tomorrow, and the chart was here when you closed and could be down here tomorrow when you open. It could also be up here when you open tomorrow, but just know that it could go either way. But I just like the way that it sold off and it found itself some support here again. And that kind of goes back to these levels here. Seems to be a big deal. I wasn't so sure when it first started to sell off there, and I took it off my list for a minute, and then it started to bounce and pop back on a scanner for me. And so now it's hanging around this 15 level. Now, did it top out here and that's the end of it? And are we going to, give it my bullish case and my bearish case? So bearish case first, was this a double top essentially? And now we're making lower highs. All right. I don't know. Certainly the case could be made for that. Or are we making a move up like this here? I don't know. Time will tell, but I'm certainly watching this one tomorrow. It is one that will trade with the markets for sure. So if you get a day where the market's gapping down and rolling over, and this doesn't have any news, which it doesn't have earnings till next week. You can see, even though it's traded 1.6 mil shares traded today, which is pretty liquid, it was right under its 10-day average for volume. It did pick up volume going into the close. I don't know what that means, but other things that I like about it, this had like probably around I don't know, 17, 18, 19, 20% short float months ago. It's now at 11%, and we can see the shorts continue to move out of it. All right. So, these are reasons that I keep it on my list. And it's got a nice range to trade. When it has its up days big, it's nice. When it has its down days big, it's terrible. But that's the way the knife cuts both ways sometimes on that range. So, and to show you what I mean is you don't want to get caught in a stock like this on a down day like this down day right there. But you do want to get caught on an up day like that there. So you can see it has big moves, both sides, multiple days sometimes, and things like that. Anyways, that's something that's on my radar. You can see I have a price alert that's there. So I'll be watching that. I'm still watching energy very heavy. Didn't look at UNG today. Let's look at UNG real fast. Still looks like a very strong chart to me, UNG. We gap down and go today. We're catching back into these moving averages. The 20 SMA and the 80 EMA are now fighting with each other. You got that spinning top kind of doji there yesterday. Did this become resistance? I'm not sure. Or are we just reloading to get right back up here? Unfortunately, with energy, you are kind of tied to what governments are going to say and policies they're going to implement. I know that there was some hearing today in Washington where they want to know why energy is so expensive, and I won't get into any of that stuff other than the fact that it exists and it will affect the price and sentiment and things like that. So I'm still very bullish energy overall. I like this. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm playing right now with energy when I'm trading. You can make this case too, though. Which one's right? Who's right? You got to decide. What do you see? What do I see? All right. The all-seeing eye. All right. There's Sauron and his all-seeing eye. I like to keep it fun. That's what I'm seeing there. Let's take 2 minutes. If there's no other questions, I'm going to take 2 minutes and go run through some sectors here really, really fast. I covered this earlier. Look at how strong every sector is on the year. All right. With the exception of, let's hit the K-Web real fast. A few weeks ago in these later sessions here that I'm doing, we talked about the K-Web and did it look like it was breaking out? And I said it's guilty till proven innocent and guilty. All right. We talked about here. I said that we had this gap up and it looks kind of strong. Now it's trying to move. And is this a move and it's ready to hook up? Nope. Boom. Rejected right through there. Rejected right through there. All right. So China looks very weak to me still overall. And a lot of people thought China was going to be the play. It wasn't. And there's nothing wrong with thinking it was going to be the play. Why wouldn't you? Anything's possible. Things turn around. It takes guts to call the turnaround. All right. It takes more guts to trade the turnaround. Boom. All right. Just nothing right there. Nothing doing whatsoever for China large caps. And now I don't know. Does it catch the 20 and it's building a base? I don't know. It's just not what I'm feeling from China currently. We'll see. Something's got to finish negative on the year. It looks like it's going to be China. I always knock on the pot stocks. I never know what to make of them. Everybody can grow pot now in this country, and you run into the problem where the state wants you to sell as much as you can for tax. The federal government's going to arrest you. No banks want to take your money. So what do you make of it? What do I make of it? It's a rough looking chart. That's what I make of it. Stay away. Solars we've been discussing. I want to switch this back. Actually, I might change from close. Change from open. Change from close percent. There we go. Solars. We talked about a possible range breakout over the last several weeks in the solars. Looks like we're breaking that range now, big time. All right. Won't be surprised to see us challenge 100 tomorrow and pop right through it again, unless the market decides to roll over for some reason. It kind of is what it is. No way to really know other than, we read the charts, read the tea leaves, and we make a decision. But what do I see? That's what I see. On the solars, all right, so if you got any solar plays, keep an eye on those. You've got your biotechs on this here. I do prefer the IBB to this, but, got to note it. And that's a strong move from it today, but again, kind of seeing this wedge here. All right. Are we going to break that? Coming to a resolution. That's what I'm seeing there. So let's see what those biotechs can do. They are negative on the year. Again, we talked about someone's going to finish negative on the year, just as what it is. Use your shippers, your B dry. All right. Had a massive run up. We've come back. We've met the mean. Come back to the mean. All right. We'll see what happens from there. SOXX, SMH. I like to look at the SMH a little more. This is your semiconductors. And again, strong as heck. All right. And just higher lows all the way through here. All right. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. All right. You can make an argument for the one time it made a higher low and then came back down. That happens. It's called a pullback. So your semiconductors are strong as heck. This is back to the biotechs. So, we could see biotech is a little bit negative on the year here, eking out being positive here on the year. We'll see what that means. There's a big drop off. I don't know what caused that. Is that what we're seeing, or are we going to get rejected right there? Keep it on the watch. It's tough with the biotechs because, like I said, you could wake up and you could be on third base with a stand-up triple the next day. You could be down here and you're in real big trouble with any kind of bio overnight. So that's the issue that you run into with bios and buy and hold. Your banks, they're still strong. They had a sell off. I think that has to do with some of the earnings that are reporting, selling off, coming in and out of earnings. We'll see what that means. Your REITs are strong as heck still. Look at that. Just that's strong. That's strength in those charts. Real strength. XLF, again, your financials, super strong, super strong on those charts. Lithium, you're not going to find anything much stronger than that. The bigger the base, the bigger the boom. We created another base that looks cup and handle to me. That's what I'm seeing. Beautiful cup and handle happening right there. That's what I'm seeing in your lithium stocks. Overall, we talked about the MJ. Is there anything else worth talking about here? Where's the XHB? We've been talking about home builders. XHB. I know that's our home builders. Let's take a look at home builders real quick. And again, really strong. Again, we could play both ways. All right. This is what I see. All right. You could call this a head and shoulders also. If it starts to collapse the other way, kind of high on the shoulders, but all the same. So I can make the bear case. I can make the bull case. What are you seeing? That's the question that's there. So, all right. No other questions have come in. You guys have the email address. Hit us at any time in that. Me, Andy, Steve, Jamie, Steffi, Sean. Everybody's there. All different hours of the day. There's other names that I didn't list there, but those are some of the, just examples. Some of the people that I work with in the support. Everybody is so knowledgeable. On the software, that's where we stick to most of our troubleshooting, but we talk charts and things like that. We're not going to tell you what to buy, sell, hold, or what to think on a chart. But I do things like this, try to do this every day. Again, info at trade-ideas.com. All right. Hit us there with an email. You got questions, you want us to look at a scan, anything like that. What are you all about? I'm a software company. We're a software company, Trade Ideas. We scan the US markets. We have charting for the U.S. markets. We do scan the Canadian markets, but no charts on the Canadian markets. Users can either use out of the box scans we've created. They can customize those. They can customize their own scans. Depending on your subscription level, you can optimize and backtest scans. We have an AI that generates ideas with buy and sell signals for you. As I always pound the table on, I think it's a good mix of man and machine between those buy and sell signals and what you were seeing also, Lonnie. That is what we are. We're Trade Ideas. We generate ideas. Exactly that. I'll give you a minute here, Lonnie. If you're just popping in and you got some questions, fire them away. I'll give you a moment here before I get out of here for the day. Or anybody else. Last chance hotel. Scans Trade Station. No, we're not affiliated with anybody else. We have a link to Trader Workstation through IB, Interactive Brokers. You can directly link to them with our software and trade through them. You could trade through them on our charts. You could also do that with E-Trade. Great link with E-Trade now. Through those APIs, we're going to turn our attention back to TD Ameritrade in the near future. Yeah, no worries. No apologies. Happy to have you pop in. I do this. Lonnie, I do this every single day, Monday through Friday. I start at 3:30 Eastern. I usually go to 4:30. Some days I stick around for a couple of minutes. A couple of minutes after, I like to talk markets. I like charts, things like that. I'm really here to, troubleshoot the software, questions and answers for the software. But if nobody's popping in questions, I'm gonna go over things that I was looking at. I go over the AI daily. Talk about some sectors. I talk about how I'm scanning, how I'm using this, things like that. Um, so I don't know how you stumbled in here, but here, let me drop a couple things for you here. You can bookmark these links. Let me find some stuff for you. Excuse me, just on another monitor to find what I want to find you. So here's a link for our education resources. I mean, this is for you or anybody else. Some volume scans. Yeah, we scan volume in all kinds of ways. Volatility, we got it all. We have metrics that we do it in and time frames that we do it in. But we got something for everybody. So that's an education page. There's some different videos and stuff that you can go over there. Let's see, what else do we got for you here? That's something that might be good for you to look at. Alert and filter definitions. All right, so this is every single data point that I'm going to drop on you. There's a lot here, so I suggest check these links out and bookmark them. All right. This is every single thing you could build a scan out of with us. You can use everything that's in there to build scans with all kinds of volume, ranges, position and ranges, all kinds of different alert events. We scan in a few different ways. So you can, we have what we call our top lists, and these are just filters. And what do I mean by filters? This is what I mean by filters. We right click and we can come into a configure here. All right, and so these are filters that are in a scan, and we can give them maximum and minimum values like price, change from closed dollar, or change from closed percent, shares traded today, the volume percent today. This looks back on a 10-day average, and so putting a 100 in the minimum means it's doing its average over 10 days. Putting a 200 would be 2 times, things like that. Position in 20-day range. We position 5-day range, 10-day range, 3 months, so on and so forth. And so our top lists, what it would do is go back and forth from the server every 30 seconds, and it returns every stock that meets your filter criteria on this list for you. And you can order them, and I have it ordered as change from close percent right now. You could order it in all kinds of different ways. You can order it by any of the filters that we have. Then we also have our alert windows. That's indicated by the A up here. So T for top list, A for alert. So alert windows work with the filters. And then on top of that, they have an alert or an event that has to happen. So for me on this specific alert, it needs to have a new high on the day with the filters that I have in here being met. And, if we come to the search, just to give you an idea, I gave you that URL that's a list, that link that's a list of everything we have. But, scroll down. These are all the different alert events that you could have. Alerts all act independently with each other, but each one interacts with the filters they're attached to. All right. So these are all different alerts: MACD and bullish engulfing and bearish engulfing and piercing and bottoming tails and all those things and different 1, 2, 3 continuations. And then here are our filters. All these different filters that are all through here. So you got all that stuff like that. And then I dropped it here. Let me drop it one more time for you though. Lonnie, you can give me an email here. Trade-ideas. And if you got any questions, you can say, hey, I saw, Chris on the afternoon Q&A, and I got some questions about the software, and fire us questions to that email address, and we're going to get back to you on that. So, all right, I'm going to wrap that up for the day here, everybody. I appreciate all the questions, the comments, the interactions. As I always say, it's, we're learning and growing together. We're a better community when, you guys are creating the content for us. This way, I'm not jamming anything down your throat, and you're getting your questions answered. We're getting educated. You guys ask questions. That educates me too. So I appreciate it all. Barry will have this open at 9 a.m. tomorrow, right from the same spot on Trade Ideas Education Channel. Barry will run it 9 to noon. At noon, he'll give up the stream here for an hour for a live Q&A. He'll take back that stream at 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock on the Eastern time. Back more as a trader's room. he'll shut down at 3 o'clock, and at 3:30 I'll start this back up again tomorrow. So, all right, thank you, everybody. You have a wonderful rest of your Thursday evening, and be safe, be happy, and we'll see you then. Happy trading.